Let's talk about the meaning of being an Eagle Scout. It is a huge responsibility that many young people take on. Taking on that responsibility is huge, especially at a very young age. And it is a lifetime commitment to the core values of scouting. It is absolutely amazing that young scouts out there who are achieving this should be praised for all that they're doing, because it takes a lot to become an Eagle Scout. An Eagle Scout is extremely rare, and we're going to talk about how rare the Eagle Scout is. And it is amazing to me, and should be to you, how important it is for young people to adopt a life of service to others. That is incredibly important, especially today. Today's youth are literally pulled in every direction, whether it be school or sports or band, you name it. There is so many other things that can interrupt their path to Eagle. As adult leaders, we need to encourage scouts to kind of focus in on that goal of becoming an Eagle. So many want to become an Eagle, but they don't know the path on how to do that. And that is super critical for adult leaders to be there to help in that regard. Now I'm going to put a very rare thing. I'm going to put it right up there. That is a playlist for mentoring Eagle Scouts. Now, that is only for the adults. The youth, they need to be part of that, but they don't need to really see that particular series, okay? That is something that needs to be presented in the correct order to the youth so that they can be motivated and really achieve the goal of becoming an Eagle. It's rare that I do a playlist, but that one is awesome, and it will take some time to go through. And you will quickly discover that it is worth it. I have mentored many scouts to Eagle, and they have achieved more than they ever thought they could. And it is amazing to me how important this Eagle Scout rank really is. Now, the Eagle Scout rank first started, the very first one was in 1912. And since that time, there has been almost 3 million Eagle Scouts. Currently, 8% of all registered scouts actually achieve Eagle. That means that if you have a troop of 14 scouts, only one will actually achieve the goal of becoming an Eagle Scout. In the United States, we have about 75 million eligible youth for scouting. And of that, only 1% actually enroll in scouting. You have to be a scout in order to be an Eagle Scout. You have to go through all of the training and all of the ranks and all of that leadership responsibilities. That has to be done. And if you're a youth outside of scouting, you don't even have that opportunity of achieving a goal of becoming an Eagle Scout. So at the end of the day, we're talking less than a percentage, less than 1% of youth become an Eagle Scout. That is extremely rare. Now, scouting as a scout movement teaches morals and ethics to make good decisions. And we live by a code, the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. Today, in many places, that may be controversial. But unfortunately, that's the time we are in, and we need to turn that around. Now, all scouts that achieve any kind of rank within scouting should be very proud of that. Some of the Eagle Scouts are very proud of their achievement, but every scout that's been involved in the program should be very pleased with achieving whatever rank they end up with. Now, there are far more non-Eagles than there are Eagle Scouts. That is to be expected. This is a very rare achievement. And never feel guilty about that at all. If you made it to life as a Life Scout rank scout, that's great and that's wonderful, and you should be proud of that achievement. At no time should you feel embarrassed about any of that or made fun of. That just wouldn't be scouting, would it? Now, in scouting, we take the scout oath, the 3 promises that we make in the scout oath. The very first one is to God and country. And a lot of Eagle Scouts have become clergy or work with churches. Part of their life is to the church. And then there's others that go on into government. And they might even be a policeman, a fireman, a rescue. There's so many things that they do. And that plays in to another big, huge part of the scout oath. The second part, the third part is to yourself. The middle one there really is to help others. That is critical. It's a critical thing in the scout oath. Now, Eagle Scouts take it upon themselves to move that oath, that promise, forward for the rest of their lives. That is the critical thing. They use the first and the second parts, and the third part helps hold it together. Okay? And that's what's so wonderful about it. And one of the critical things within the oath, within that part of it, is that it's all based on keywords found in the Scout Law. That is so important for people to really understand that Eagle Scouts represent the oath and the Scout Law. Now, it's natural for Eagle Scouts to take on leadership because they were trained on how to be an effective and good leader. So you'll find them being the managers, the leads, the supervisor, even the CEOs of the company. It is so important that this skill is given to young people so that they can have the tools in their toolbox to succeed. That is so important. And when you go through the honor roll of Eagle Scouts, it is amazing to me how many were incredible to whatever thing they were doing. And it's based on those skills that were taught to them through becoming an Eagle Scout. And I know for a fact that when I did hiring, that was a part of my career. When I was doing hiring, if there was ever anyone with an Eagle on their application, okay, they got an Eagle Scout, they're going to get an interview, okay? Even if I don't have a job that fits their skills, I'll find them one. And that was one of the big things that I wanted to make sure that Eagle Scouts knew, that I would go the extra mile and I'd make sure they get employed and gainful employment. So that was one of those things that I did back when I was doing that kind of stuff. It is just amazing. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that continue what I was doing in helping, scouts that were getting an application and starting off on a career. I wanted to make sure that that was passed on, and I did that within the companies. Now, you'll never should hear an Eagle Scout say, I was an Eagle Scout. No, that's not it. They are an Eagle Scout, always, 100% of the time, from the time they were approved all the way through to their dying day. They are an Eagle Scout the whole time. It's forever. That is literally a task that's given to young people to take on for the rest of their lives. Now, there have been 12 men who have walked on the moon in the early, from 69 to about, I think it was 74. I'm not really sure on that date, but it was that time period where men were on those missions to the moon. And 12 walked on the surface. There was only 2 that went down out of the 3. Only 2 went down to the surface of the moon. Only one of those astronauts that landed on the surface of the moon, only one, was not in scouting as a youth. Now, astronaut Conrad on Apollo 12, who walked on the moon, was actually in Cub Scouting. Never went into a troop. Astronaut Aldrin from Apollo 11 and astronaut Schmidt from Apollo 17 were tenderfoot scouts. Astronaut Young from Apollo 16 and an astronaut Cernan from Apollo 17 achieved the second class rank in scouting. Astronaut Bean from Apollo 12 and Shepard from Apollo 14 achieved first class. Astronaut Mitchell from Apollo 14 and Scott from Apollo 15 achieved life rank. Astronaut Neil Armstrong and Charles Duke are the only 2 Eagle Scouts who have walked on the surface of the moon. Now that could all change in the very near future. We are going back to the moon, so that could all change. We hope that those leadership skills can carry over in the space program, and I know it does. Okay, so it's a concern, but it is something that is important, but not essential. When I was growing up, I was told that all of the astronauts that went to the moon were test pilots, and that was a requirement. No, it's not a requirement to be a test pilot. It is actually it is recommended. It puts your application ahead of others. That's one of those things. It's one of those qualifications that they look for, is that dedication towards a goal. So that's the thing they need to demonstrate that. They look at Eagle Scout as that example. It's very important that you understand that no matter what rank you achieved in scouting, that's wonderful. If you were never available to scouting, if the program wasn't where you were, that's unfortunate. But now that you're involved in scouting, help facilitate those scouts towards a very worth it goal. And we do. You know, this is not an ad for NISA. Okay, I'm a member. Okay, I believe that NISA is one of those organizations that adult leaders should be involved in. NISA, National Eagle Scout Association, is exclusive to Eagle Scouts. So that is requirement 1. You have to be an Eagle Scout. That's the first off. But this is not an ad to go and get a membership, okay? So you should know about this because even if you're not an Eagle, there are people running around with NISA stuff on their uniform. You need to know about the National Eagle Scout Association, NISA. You need to know about that. That's important. In 1925, the Knights of Dynamis was basically organized in San Francisco. This organization was built for Eagle Scouts so that Eagle Scouts could give service back to their community. In 1972, the Boy Scouts of America incorporated the Knights of Dynamis into the National Eagle Scout Association, NISA. Now, this as a side note, the National Eagle Scout Association of the Philippines keeps the eagle and the sword that was in the Knights of Dynamis that has that logo kind of incorporated in their current day organization. Now, I know a lot of you are in the United States, but believe it or not, there are a lot of fans in the Philippines and throughout the Asian arena, okay? So scouting is international. And a lot of the organizations we have here in the States, they also have elsewhere. So that I found very fascinating in some of the research, was this logo relationship that they had. It was just amazing. Now, membership in the NISA, National Eagle Scout Association, there are two types of members. Membership, standard membership, which is usually 5 years. You get a 5-year membership. Once that's been done, you can expand that into the second level, which is known as a lifetime membership. Now, lifetime memberships are really expensive, okay? So if you're going to do that, believe me, if you're young, you want a lifetime. If you're older, several just regular memberships would be fine. All of that membership stuff goes towards benefiting many of the things that NISA does. Now, I'm going to put some of the stuff down below, but you need to go to NISA's website to actually find out what the current membership fees are. Okay. Now, membership fees that they go for, a lot of that funding ends up being college scholarships for Eagle Scouts to go to college. So scholarships are a wonderful thing. So those grants, that scholarship going to Scouts based on their service projects. Now, these are all Eagle Scouts. Everybody involved in NISA is an Eagle Scout. The Scouting Alumni Network that they have also is part of that. So if you're an alumnus of Scouting, you're no longer with a unit, you're just an alumnus, there is an organization with Scouts through NISA that you may want to be involved in, especially if you're a lifetime member. I myself am a lifetime member of the National Eagle Scout Association. I got it when I was very young, okay, so it was worth it. That was the thing, you know. You want to get it when you're young. You get the lifetime membership because you're going to live a long time, right? They have a lot of exclusive patches, different things that they wear. An Eagle Scout that is a lifetime member has a silver border around their knot. Look for it. You'll find it. You'll see it. Okay. So definitely think about that. Okay. So there's a lot of exclusives there. NISA, they always have a special event at jamborees, and they always have some kind of display or museum or something that they do at jamborees, and NOAC, the National Eagle Scout Association will have something at NOAC, which is the National Order of the Arrow Association. That's their big meeting they have every so often. So you know what? I'm going to put a link up there for about NOAC. Okay, so if you want to know more about NOAC, NOAC, that's right up there. Okay, so they also have seminars at Philmont. That's what NISA does. They have these great little meetups that they do. Membership and annual discounts at retailers. Okay, believe it or not. I've got an amazing story. So you got to stay to the end. Got an amazing story that happened to me. It's crazy. Eagle Scout magazine. Okay, there's a little magazine that they actually send out, and they do a lot of. They're representative of the National Committee, so they are very much integrated with National. Okay, so obviously, so it's worthwhile to look into. If you're an Eagle Scout and not a current member, please get into it. There are a lot of benefits. If you aren't an Eagle Scout, you wouldn't be eligible for it, but you could remind that Eagle Scout that they need to do it. Okay, or if you're looking for a really nice gift for an Eagle Scout, a youth, a membership, even a temporary membership, would be something. So that would be fantastic. Okay, it would definitely be a way of networking and getting out there and doing some really good stuff. Now, let me tell you about this really crazy thing that happened to me. I was meeting up with my district executive at a Starbucks. And it was Starbucks. I didn't have any cash in my pocket. So I reach in my pocket, get my wallet, and I pull my credit card out and I hand it to the lady. Well, the lady looks at it for a little bit and I'm thinking, uh-oh, what's wrong? And she's looking at this thing. She says, "You're an Eagle Scout?" I had 2 cards in the wallet. The one card, they were both the same color. That was the thing. They were both silver. I pulled out my lifetime membership to NISA and showed it to her. Okay? She looked at that and said, "Are you really an Eagle Scout?" I go, "Yes, I'm sorry. Here's my real card." She goes, "Never mind, never mind." She bought me a coffee. So there are benefits. I thanked her a lot. And of course, tip jar. The next time I was in, I didn't have any cash. The next time I was in, that tip jar got a little extra. So she was so nice about it. And but people, they don't expect it. It's just something they didn't think about. I did not do that on purpose. I didn't try to get either. So don't.